Hi, everybody. Welcome to the episode. My name is Ina Coveney, and I am a salary replacement expert, which means that I help professionals start a business on the side so they can replace their salary and do whatever they want. That's basically what I do in a nutshell. I've been doing this for a couple years. Before that, I was in corporate for 15 years, and it took me forever to finally get out and break out of the employee mindset, which is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. This topic today is specific to investing in yourself because this is a concept that I had no concept. This is something I had no concept of when I got out of corporate 2 years ago. To this day, I have no idea how things just started happening, how I started to really break out of being in this jail, which was for me to stay in my job for as long as I did, to believe that there was no other way to live life than that way. And I really attribute it to my ability to invest in myself, which is not something that I had. It's not something we're born with or not born with. It's not something that it's basically something that we figure out along the way. And my purpose for this podcast episode is to speed up the process for you to figure that part out. And to illustrate it, I'm going to tell you that I work with a lot of people who have decided to really say, you know what, I'm going to bet on me. I can't bet on anything else. Betting on the lottery is not going to pay. Betting on my boss finally seeing me differently is not going to pay. The only thing that's going to pay is me relying on myself to take the steps that I need to take to build something for me. Okay? So if you are as smart and resourceful as I know that you are, I know that you can do this. You know that you can do this. But there's something always stopping us from that. And it's usually something related to how to get the help that we need, how to acknowledge that we need help. I mean, if I'm so smart, why can't I figure this out on my own? Here's the deal. That question right there is a trap. It's a trap that we all fall into. If I am so smart, then how come I can't just go and figure this out on my own? Here's what people are not telling you, or what people are trying to tell you, and you have not been able to hear it through your ears, right? It is that every success story out there got help. In one way, shape, or form, they got help. They had mentors. Nobody is 100% self-made. All right. So I've always considered myself to be extremely smart, extremely resourceful. I can make things happen. Nothing stands in my way. And I know that you're the same way. All right. So when it came to asking for help for anything, I'm like, no, I just need to Google a few things and figure it out on my own. I don't need to pay you because you're probably just trying to take my money, but I'm too smart for that. I'm too smart for you to come and take my money. So I'm just going to go and try to figure it out on my own. Okay. That is the mentality of the employee. That is the mentality of someone who is considering that keeping their money is a lot more valuable than changing their life for the better. It's really hard to see a correlation between asking for help and things moving when forever, for the entire time that you've been on earth, you've been able to make things happen. So how long have you been trying to start your business? How long have you been thinking about this? And why are things not happening yet? Guess what? We all have these mind blocks that are stopping us from doing it. And you may not believe it. You may be like, no, what's stopping me is really that I have too many things to do before I actually start, that I have too many things on my plate. And if that's you, you need to go back to episode 85 because I talked a little bit about that mindset. But what I want you to know right now is that if you have not opened up your mind to the possibility that you need help to get this done faster, then that means that there's something else going on. That means that there's something else that is keeping you where you are, and it is not that to-do list. Because if I were to tell you right now, hey, that to-do list that you have, I'm going to remove it. I'm going to say, hey, you don't need to do all these things. All you need to do is go out tomorrow and start to serve someone, start to get clients. I assure you 99% of you who are listening will not do that because there's something else. It's not that friggin' to-do list. There's something else that is stopping you. Have you given that some thought? Do you know what those things stopping you are? I can't really tackle all of the possibilities in this episode, but I wanted to tackle one that is really, really important, which is opening up your mind to receiving and asking for help in a way that actually matters. So even though you have your own story that is going to back me up on everything I'm going to talk to you about today, because I know you're going to see parallels here, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story so that you can see how this plays out. What happens when you don't get help and you just continue to rely on you, just taking things one step at a time and just letting things simmer. Let me give you my example. So when I started my business, my first business, this was back in 2011. I was on maternity leave. I went down to the local diner. I asked them if I could make their website for free. They said yes. And from then, I've gotten referrals to make websites, right? It was just that simple. And it's that simple for you, by the way. But I started doing it that way. And I didn't feel like I needed any help. I mean, I was getting clients, I was submitting proposals that were getting accepted, but there was something happening here. I wasn't growing. I wasn't charging what my services were actually worth. So I was nowhere near replacing my salary. That was not in the cards at the pace that I was going, charging $45 per client per month, right? That wasn't going to happen. But I wasn't getting any help because I didn't feel like I needed any. I already had clients. I already had a business. I already had a job. Leave me alone. What else do you want from me? Right? But then years later, I became more aware of there being an entrepreneurial universe out there. Something that very aptly is called the passion economy. Right? People out there doing whatever they love to do and creating a life around it and finding their own clients around it. I didn't know that was a thing because I lived in the mainstream world. I lived in the world where you buy things at big companies, where if you want to start a company, then you need to get yourself some VC backing, right? Some venture capital backing, where you need capital, where you need a business loan, where you need business bank accounts. I didn't even create business bank accounts. I didn't even register my business as an LLC until much, much later. In 2011, all I did was walk down to my town hall and say, hey, my business name is In a Nutshell. So I did a DBA, doing business as. That's what I did. That's all. I did not worry about anything else related to business. I didn't feel like I needed to. I even went through getting an MBA. I graduated from an MBA and I still started a business and I did not know how to grow it or what I was going to do with it. So fast forward from 2011, fast forward a few years, and I become aware of this woman named Amy Porterfield. So for you, it may be somebody else, somebody who introduced you to this world. Because if you're listening to my voice, chances are I'm not your first stop in this whole creating a business online world, right? You've already heard of other mentors that you followed. So that was it for me. That was the first person that I really became aware of was Amy Porterfield, who teaches about online marketing. And I started to really get very excited about it. I'm like, wait a minute. I can build an audience online and I can monetize it. That sounds fun. Let me go and do that. And Amy was selling her courses. I'm like, oh, I don't need help. I'll just listen to her webinars for free, and I'll continue to listen to webinars for free, and I'll continue to listen to Facebook Lives, and I'll continue to listen to podcasts. That's all I need. Just give me a little bit of information. I'll figure everything else out myself, because that's just the kind of person I am. So this is what happened. During that time, I started a few different blogs. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start a blog on cooking. Even though I'm a terrible cook, I don't cook. This is not something I do. But people are going to like it that somebody who doesn't cook has a cooking blog, right? And it's going to go viral and people are going to love me and I'm going to become a celebrity. Never happened. I started another blog where I was teaching myself how to create a mobile app. And I'm like, oh, people are going to come to me for advice. Never happened. I created another blog where it was just basically Dear Diary. It's just me and my stories. Did not go viral. For some reason, I was relying on me putting something out there and hordes of people coming to get it. hordes of people being attracted to it. And I feel like that's something that we all have that fear about, that as soon as we put our business online, the whole world is going to know. And everybody's going to come looking for that thing. And all of a sudden, we're not going to have time for our families, and we're not going to have time for our full-time jobs. And we just have to wait until the last possible minute until we are actually ready for this in order to put our business out there online. Because once we do, all the floodgates open. And it just doesn't happen that way. Going viral is something that happens so rarely that we only hear about a few of those per day. You have any idea how many people out there are trying to go viral? What actually becomes viral is just the tip of the iceberg of people trying to go viral. So if you're not even trying to go viral, if you're just here trying to just start a business, chances are, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to go viral. You're not going to see the floodgates open and people coming to you and millions of people watching you. It just doesn't work that way. So back then, these failed attempts at starting a blog educated me on something that I'm just going to tell you right now that you may have a fear about. You may have a fear about putting your website up or putting your business out online and you getting way too many clients or way too many referrals and you don't know what to do with them. I'm going to break that myth for you right now. It just doesn't happen that way. If it did, then everybody would get clients all the time and everybody would quit their job. It just doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that quickly. So I learned that the hard way by starting blog after blog after blog. Now notice that I had no idea how to create an audience around it. I just thought that having a blog was enough. Cue in Amy Porterfield and learning about online marketing and creating an audience and monetizing it and actually having a product. I'm like, whoa, I could have a product. Okay, Amy, I listened to your webinar. Hold it right there. I'm going to go and work on this. Here's what happens when you do that, when you go and do things on your own. Life doesn't stop. The floods came, right? Like my house got flooded because it rained. We had like a 50-year storm twice in a row in a span of 2 weeks. And my house flooded and now we had to redo our basement, right? So right there, we had a big investment to get a brand new finished basement, right? Putting down that money. Then we wanted to move. Okay. We have to put up that money of having to move, buying a new house, selling this one, putting things in storage. Life gets busy. We have babies, right? Kids get sick. We go on vacations. My family lives in Chile. At the time, my family lived in Dominican Republic and in Texas, and we had to go and travel to see them. So life gets busy. So when you're not getting help, when it's just you, and I'm sure you can find parallels in your own life. If you've been thinking about starting your business for a while and your reason is that you are too busy, it's because that's what happens. Because there's nobody else out there keeping you accountable on this thing that you want to build. So it falls to the bottom of the priority list. Inevitably. It just does, right? So that's what was happening to me. I knew about online marketing because I was learning everything from the Amy Porterfield podcast, and I was working on my freebie, and I tried to stay accountable by meeting up with a friend of mine every week, but she had no idea about what I was doing. She couldn't help me with what I was doing. So a whole year passed by. Life happened. Life took priority over everything, and I got zero done. All right? I want you to compare that, which has probably been your experience, right? You're trying to get things done. You're trying to do things on your own. You're thinking about your to-do list. You're sitting down to plan things, or I just need to put things down on paper. I know what to do. I just need to do it. I just need to find the time. Okay, I'm just going to find a couple hours this weekend to do it. Or I'm just going to find a couple hours here to do it. There's a difference between doing it that way, which is the alone way, the way that fails every time because nobody's actually keeping you accountable for it, versus the right way. And the right way is the one that actually helps you achieve results. So if you're just doing your business as a hobby, which is kind of an oxymoron, if it's a business, it's not a hobby because you're monetizing it. But if you're doing it for fun, and this is really not a serious thing that you're trying to do, getting out of your job, then hey, keep learning. Everybody should have a hobby. Not everybody has to quit their job and do what they want to do. But if this is something that you're serious about, if this is something you look at your job and you say, I cannot stay here anymore. I want to get out and do my own thing. Look, Ina is doing it. Look, Amy is doing it. Look, these other people are doing it. Why can't I do it? No, the answer is yes, you can. But guess what? Ina and Amy and everybody else got themselves help to actually get things done and get things moving. The first time that I got myself a coach was, I didn't even know what coaching was. I had no idea. When I found my coach, I found her on a Facebook ad. She had a freebie and I signed up for the freebie. 5 minutes later, I found myself buying her $17 baby offer and I sent her an email. And I'm like, whoa, you just got me from having no idea who you were to buying something from you in a matter of 5 minutes. How did you do that? I would love to pick your brain. She said, let's get on a call. At the time, I had no idea I was walking into a sales call. I didn't know anything about coaching at all. So we chatted. She was very nice, very supportive of what I wanted to do. She gave me a few options and she told me how much her prices were. And I'm like, I don't think I can afford that. That right there is a red flag. To say that you can't afford something is a red flag. To say that you want to invest in something, right? And you're going to think strategically about when to do it, that's different. But to say I can't afford it is basically telling yourself, I can't do this because I can't get myself the help that I need. So watch your language. And this is something that money mindset coach talk about all the time. I'm not a money mindset coach, but I've had to do my fair share of money mindset work in order to get there. So I'm like, I can't afford that because that's exactly how much money I'm making in my business every month right now, which means that I'm giving you all of my money. I'm giving you all of my output from my business. And so I said something that I have been told many times in sales calls is, well, can I try this by myself for 6 months and then we can touch base in 6 months and see if I really need you? And she said something that was masterful. She said, how long have you been trying to do this on your own? And I said, it's been about 3 years. And she said, and how is that working for you? I'm like, it really isn't. If I'm honest with myself, as intelligent and resourceful and type A and organized as I am, things were not happening. I spent 3 years spinning my wheels, thinking that I was doing things when I was actually doing nothing or accomplishing nothing. Because I felt like I was busy, but I wasn't accomplishing anything. And that's when she said, well, what if we could get you clients in those 6 months? Instead of spending another 6 months trying to figure things out on your own, why don't we try to do it together? So I told her I will think about it. 2 months later, I started working with her. So that's when I started to really see the value of investing in myself, because there were times, this was one of those programs that they had no end. It was just a month-to-month situation. And even there were months that or weeks that I didn't want to meet with her. That was like, oh, I didn't do my homework. I feel like I just want to hide under the blankets. Life got busy and I didn't get anything done. But I would force myself to go because I reminded myself that every time we meet, something special happens. I discover something new. I get excited again. So I never canceled a meeting with her. And that's one of the things that I have with my own clients. I tell them we never cancel a meeting. If you didn't do the homework, that's not a reason to cancel. There's always something to talk about. There's always something to learn. So I kept my meetings up with her. I still have them all recorded. I still have every single one of those meetings. And it was unbelievable, the shifts that happened, because she was the one telling me, I've been there. I know what you need to do next if you want that outcome that you need. She's the one that got me to do my first webinar, the one that got me to host my first challenge, the one that because of her, I started my podcast. I started this podcast because of her, because of the resources that she made available to me, and got me so excited that I just was not stopping. I just kept on going. That's the difference between working by yourself and working with someone who is helping you, somebody who's knowledgeable and you can bounce ideas off of, somebody who's already been there. So there is a cheap way and there is a right way to get things done. The cheap way, the results come much slower if they ever come at all. People who actually start to see progress in their dreams, in their passions, in getting clients, in putting themselves out there online, those are the people that get themselves some help from people who've been there so they can learn from them. So in terms of investing in yourself, is really saying, I am willing to put this money down because I know that on the other side, I'm going to see a return. That's how an investment works. It's not just a fluff word that coaches use so that you don't use the word spend or price, right? It's not just a matter of semantics of replacing it. This is a matter of betting on yourself. This is a matter of, the first time that I hired my really more expensive coach, right? Within 3 months of working with her, I was already booking much higher clients because she was the one who pointed out to me what my blind spots were. And she started pointing out to me, you know what? I think you can charge more for that and you're going to start doing that now. And that's how I started to really start replacing my salary, is by working with people who were challenging me to do things that I wouldn't have done for myself because I wouldn't have even known where to start. So I wanted to come here, basically get on my soapbox and tell you that this is a shortcut to success, is to get yourself help so that you can start to see progress right now. It's not just, let me figure this out and in 6 months, if I haven't gotten anywhere, let me work with you. No, this is one situation where you invest in now so that 3 months from now, you're in a completely different place. Mentally, emotionally, business-wise, progress-wise. In 3 months, you'll be in a place that you didn't even imagine. But you only do that when somebody's pulling you up, when you got mentors who are helping you get pulled up. Getting there by yourself is rare. There's a 0.01% chance that you'll be able to do it on your own, just because this is how it goes. Very few people are 100% self-made. And every single success story that you see out there, you bet that they have a coach. I interviewed John Lee Dumas from the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast last year. And that was one of the things that I asked him is, did you get yourself a coach? And he said, absolutely. It would be stupid for me to not get a coach. Like basically those are the words that he was telling me. He's like, why would I try to do this on my own? Why on earth? I had no idea what I was doing. If I really wanted this to succeed, I had to invest in myself. I had to put money down, trusting that on the other side, I was going to make something even bigger happen. And look where he is now, making millions of dollars a year in his business and living the life in Puerto Rico, right? So this is a shortcut that I just want you to know that I told you about it. And that if you're still thinking, I want to figure this out on my own, I want you to know that what you have in your hands is a really cool project. But progress and seeing results right away, that only happens when you get yourself some help and really start to take that kind of action. So there's a little bit of tough love for you. This is how things go. And I want you to stay tuned because my Be Found program is kicking off in May. And in April, I'm going to have a huge blitz with bonuses, with activities, with things for you to think about. These are the times that I thrive as an entrepreneur because that's where I get all my creative juices flowing. And the earlier you sign up, the best deal you get. So stay tuned for everything coming up in April. And if you're not getting my emails yet, because those are the people that hear about everything first, go to inacoveney.com/join. All right. But you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in EY. Okay. That's what I had for you today. If you like this episode, please tell me what your biggest takeaway was. You can put it in the comments here on Facebook, or if you're on the podcast, you can leave me a comment or a review on iTunes and I will read it and thank you for it. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week and I will talk to you soon. Yay, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Click right here and check out the podcast Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life. I'll see you there.